Hello, everybody. Welcome to our week 4. So, this week, your descriptive essay is due by the end of the week, by Sunday the 16th, a minute before midnight. So, that means, of course, I am going to be grading and returning your narrative essays, your first essay. And remember, the grading scheme for the essays is going to be according to a rubric. And I believe that very same rubric, it's going to be consistent, the same for each essay. And I believe I emailed it to Miss Evans a couple of weeks ago, and I think I enabled it for you to view it as well. So, as long as you are minding your P's and Q's, giving a identifiable thesis, giving support, doing your best to stay as grammar error free in terms of grammar punctuation as you possibly can, then you could expect, and that you follow the assignment instructions, then you can expect to do relatively well. Okay, if not very well. Okay, remember, a B is good, an A is excellent. Okay, and a C is you just met the minimum expectations. So before you submitted that essay, or any assignment for that matter in this class, ask yourself, did I perform excellently? Did I perform well? Did I perform average? Did I perform poorly? Or did I perform abysmally poorly? That would be an F. I really doubt any of you. Again, the hardest grades to get are A and F. I would say an F is even harder to earn than an A. You have to really try at not trying to get an F, okay? But in any case, so descriptive up next. So whereas narrative, you focused on an event, descriptive is you're focusing on a thing, as it were, or a person, place, thing, or idea, I should say. And you're concentrating your effort towards making that person, place, thing, or idea come to life via, by way of, descriptive language. Okay? Appealing to sights, tastes, touches, sights and sounds. Again, I might have repeated one of those or omitted one, me and my five senses. I always screw up when I try to remember all of them. But you want to do it skillfully. You don't want to necessarily overload your writing with descriptor after descriptor, adjective after adjective after adjective after adjective. Because just think about it. What happens if you read something that is just laden, overloaded with description? You feel maybe a little disoriented or dizzy because you're just overwhelmed by all these descriptors. So a few well-placed, skillful adjectives sprinkled throughout. So you don't want to bombard or beat your reader over the head with description after description after description. Okay, and look at the student example. You should really be looking at the student examples in SCC as we do each one of these, because they'll be a great help. It kind of gives you a sense of the expectations, how yours should look, and maybe even how yours should proceed, and how you lay out the details and schematics of your essay. Okay, so that you have to arm yourselves so that you may do well. And what else do we have going on this week? Well, I just want to reiterate that when it's time, usually I grade your essays the second week of the due date period. So you guys turned in the narrative a week ago. So the week after that Sunday, I'm grading classwork, homework for my other 4 or 5 classes. And then the following week is my essay grading week. So that's this week right now. So I'm going to be grading my Sonoraville students' essays. Okay. So that means that the homework you submitted last week is going to take a back seat. Okay. So that stuff's probably going to come your way next week. All right. So the second week of you having your essay turned in is the week during which I focus on grading it. Okay, so that is this week for your narrative. Okay. To that end, if you do have a rough draft this week, my intention is always yeah, to look at it if you submit it, especially if you submit it by or ideally before Thursday. But this week, as I am really working hard on getting those narratives back to you, I'm not really going to have the time to devote to looking over a rough draft. So I'm relying on you all to get in touch with Miss Evans on that regard, or in that regard, I should say, to help prepare yourselves for your final. Have her look over a rough draft. And she and I, more often than not, view your writing in a very similar fashion. So it's going to be, practically speaking, just as though you've given me your essay to look at. So it's no worries there, okay? And Miss Evans and I, of course, are in regular contact about how rough drafts are going and asking each other questions, kind of spitballing with how we approach your writing and everything. So we all have an open channel of communication here. So don't worry about her assessing your work on a different standard than I would. Okay, because that's by and large not the case. So no worries there. So blogs are back this week. I only saw, out of the two classes, I think I only had one student contribute to the first blog. That was a couple of weeks ago. Now, of course, that's fine. You don't have to contribute to the blogs at all. All right. However, it is a space there for you guys to talk about the readings, about how you're doing writing the essays. Could ask each other for help, advice. Again, kind of like a less formal space than, say, a discussion forum. Okay, while all the while remaining respectful and treating each other civilly, and which you guys are doing or have done, and the other discussion board and everything else I've looked at so far. So I don't have any real concerns with that. But remember, it is bonus. Okay, so I am going to basically add each time you contributed a blog as either a point or a half a point, depending on how many you contribute, to your final essay. So the blogs, while you don't have to do them, it really behooves you to do them so that you could have maybe some extra credit on your MLA research argument and persuasion essay at the end of the 1101 quarter, okay, which is at the conclusion of this week. We are pretty much there, okay? We are coming up on this, finishing the first quarter of the semester. After our descriptive unit, that's where we're going, argument and persuasion, okay? So next week, I'm going to have you guys look at your argument and persuasion unit, and we'll get into that whole headspace next week. So just giving you a little outlook there. So I think that is actually the conclusion of what I have to say to you guys today. Read the week's announcement on Blackboard. Basically, reiteration of what I'm saying here. Basically the same thing. Come to me for any help you need over the week. Realize that I probably won't be able to get to any rough drafts for your descriptive. If you want to run a topic by me, I would have time to look at that. Okay, that's just a quick yes or no, or hey, maybe rethink this thing. So you can certainly do that. What do you want to have as your topic for your descriptive? A person, let's say your grandmother. A place, let's say your favorite vacation spot. Think about that E.B. White piece, Once More to the Lake. That's a great one. That's probably one of my favorite things that we read in this class. I will just come out and say it, okay? I think that's just a wonderful, beautiful essay. E.B. White, of course, who wrote Charlotte's Web. So maybe it's a description of your favorite place, vacation place, childhood memory of a certain place you guys used to go to camping or hiking or whatnot. Person, place, a thing, an object, okay? Maybe I could describe my copy of It or the story in general. You could see that I've had this thing for almost a year now, and because I read 4 books at one time, I'm not even, well, I'm sort of close. I only have this much left to read, okay? But I could offer my entire essay describing the physical dimensions of this book. I don't know if it'd make for a particularly engaging read, but I can describe this thing. It's like a doorstop, okay? It's got some girth. It's heavy, okay? I really like the artwork. This is a newer edition, of course. You know, an object. You might want to pick something a little more compelling than just a physical book. You might not want to describe just the book, how it looks. And then an idea, a concept, say, falling in love. Okay. Poets and philosophers have been writing about that for thousands of years, since Plato and before. Okay. So maybe it's an idea you want to talk about. Okay, so a person, place, thing, or idea. Any of those can be a topic or subject to which you devote your descriptions. Okay, how do you want to divide your paragraphs? Do you want to divide them by senses? Maybe you could have paragraph A being all about how the thing smells. Paragraph B, how it tastes. Paragraph C, how it feels. Okay? So you need to always come up with an organizing principle with all of these essays. How are you going to subdivide your body paragraphs to support your thesis best? Okay? So that is what we are looking at. Same thing with the narrative essay. Intro, thesis as the last statement of the intro. About 2 to 3 body paragraphs. And a conclusion that restates the thesis. About 2 pages, okay? Page and a half, you're just squeaking by. I really want that minimum to be 2 pages. Never go over 3 pages, okay? Except for the last essay, the research essay. That's going to be over 3 pages, okay? But for now, don't exceed 3 pages at the most, okay? So, folks, I think that's it, and I will leave you to it. I hope you have a great week. Football is back, so that's fun. Go Saints and Jags. All right, bye-bye.